All right, and feast your eyes on this. So this post is actually from more than a week ago. More than a week ago. What ended up happening is after we discussed all the Twitch TOS kind of stuff, a streamer put sensor bars on their overlay, and for this particular stream, you can actually tell, by the way, that the person's wearing clothing. You can see they're wearing like basically a bikini. I can tell, and like I think when I posted this, Try also pointed out, like you can tell they are actually wearing some clothing under it.
Yeah.
But there are, to me, I have two opinions on this before we talk about it. Which, by the way, this like took Twitch by storm. All the hot tub. I don't even know what I'm just gonna say it. I feel bad for saying this, but like all the OnlyFans girls who are promoting their OnlyFans on Twitch, they did this obviously to promote their OnlyFans. They're like, hey, look at me, I look great. Did you know I have an OnlyFans? Kind of idea, marketing that, because that's the OnlyFans is where they're making their real money. Part of me thinks it's funny. One, I thought it was funny. I thought it was a funny use of like, okay, what a silly concept. Do the censor bars. Like, yeah, it's funny. The other part of me is like, man, you are bending this ruler like crazy with the rules. You are bending it like crazy. It makes me like think more and more like Twitch. Maybe you should just have like I don't know. Maybe you should just have an 18 plus site.
I mean,
maybe you should just do it.
We talked about that last time. It's like, can we just like compartmentalize this into like a different part of the site?
I think this needs to be like, I think some of this part of me is thinking like maybe this is better on like an 18 plus site. I think it's funny, but at the same time I'm like, you know, it's content. Twitch is a content platform. It's not a gaming platform anymore. It's a content platform. Let's just be real.
Yep.
I get sex is really good content.
Yep.
Being sexy is good content, but there are also like you have to be kind of careful. I think it's bending it to the most it can be bent on the
Oh
ruler.
yeah, they're really towing the line.
They really are. They really are. And people have been getting, I've seen like people getting banned and things like that, but I think it's funny, but at the same time, it makes me think more and more like Twitch, you might need to like really start lasering in on examples of what's allowed and what's not allowed and be super definitive on it, because
really specific.
To me, I would have thought, wow, this doesn't seem this is allowed. Surprising. Okay. So obviously everybody, you know, was pushing the envelope, men, women, everybody. They were pushing the envelope, trying to get views. You know, everyone's trying to get views. So yeah, I'll shut up on that one now. That's kind of my two thoughts, 2 points on that, 2 opinions. Funny, but probably should be on a different 18 plus Twitch site, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last time. I agree. I think they should compartmentalize it into a different site or a different like section of the site where you need to like verify 18 plus, and then they can just go wild, right?
Right.
I also like I didn't post this, but I was like scrolling Reddit. I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. It was in the last few days, and I saw another like a Twitch streamer. She was wearing like a thong, and she had like a mirror so you could see her butt, and then like a bikini top, and then she had a shake weight, and she was just going.
I mean,
and she was just jiggling all over the place. It was like, Jesus, okay.
It's the anything for content, anything for eyeballs, right? Like that stuff is going to draw eyeballs. Maybe not the best kind of viewership to be, you know, maybe, but it also gets people to come in, say, you know, see what's going on,
maybe subscribe.
Probably, you know, definitely thinking about donating, subscribing. You know, there are people like this where they're like, if I donate and subscribe, they'll see me kind of mentality.
Yep.
I'm not going to say anything further on that, but like I said, bending the ruler. To me, that also should be like 18 plus site. That also is 18 plus to me. That's like, you're just, I mean, you know what you're doing. We all know. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is This is there on Twitch. Twitch. I mean, some of these streamers are, I think, generate quite a lot of viewers, so they're
Sure.
like Twitch likes them in a way, but they got to be careful as far as the advertisers go and
Yep, you
stuff
got to be
like that.
super careful.
See what they're gonna allow and what they're not gonna allow. So
Be interesting.
we'll
go ahead. No, finish your thought. I was just gonna
we'll see. We'll
it.
just see like how it proceeds and where it goes from there. If again, I'm on the side of we should just compartmentalize it into a different part of the site. But we'll see what Twitch decides to do down the road.
I think Twitch does need to think about it at some point. There's probably a conversation that somebody started there. It's like, do you think we should have an 18+ side? For me, by the way, I'm wondering if Twitch can turn off certain advertisers for certain channels. It'd be interesting to know how much control Twitch has on their ads. To me, I think they have hardly any control. That they have like almost zero control over what ads hit which channels. I think they do. But yeah. I think they do a poor job. But it'd be interesting to know if like, oh, well, like I'm an advertiser and I want to sell my holiday candy bar, and all of a sudden, of course, Twitch is not going to show this kind of stream. But those avenues, those people, usually they're, in this case, it might even be an agency. An advertising agency is going to go to Twitch and they're working with various brands, like let's just say Pepsi, Coke, whatever. And they're going to go to Twitch. They're going to do their own research. I'm not going to say they're geniuses, but they're also not stupid. They're going to go to Twitch after, they're going to do their own research on the platform and go, holy shit, like, why are there all of a sudden all these, what's this? What's going on here? Do I really want to advertise Pepsi or Coke? I haven't seen a lot of Coke gaming ads recently, by the way. I don't know if that means something. Do I really want to promote my brand here anymore? I think that's probably a conversation somebody at the ad agency had. And I'm sure that's also going to need to start really like happening at Twitch. They're going to have to be like, well, if we don't define the rules, guys, they're going to keep bending the ruler. And all of a sudden we're going to run into a situation where ad agencies are going to start to ask, hey, can we not promote my product on any streams in Just Chatting, because it's very clear that Just Chatting has a bunch of these like bikini wearing, shake weight using streamers. I don't really want my product there. I don't want my product to be associated with something that I might be inclined to think is really sexual in nature. Can I instead promote my ads into Minecraft or something? It'd be interesting to know if Twitch can do that, is my point.
Yeah.
If they can, maybe they don't care. They're like, oh, we just don't have to target ads onto these streams. But I mean, they probably do anyway. I'd love to see what ad runs on this stream. Love to know. Anything else, Spoon, on the topic of censor bars and sex?
Nope.
Okay, let's jump to Insomniac Games had a hack occur, and much of their I guess we'll say source code, but employee information was also leaked out. This is a post from Insomniac. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but one thing I do want to say is the people compiled together gameplay footage of Wolverine specifically. They pulled together what kind of upcoming games are coming from Insomniac. The employee personal information part, obviously, I mean, I don't think it was shared online in Twitter, but it was also something that was hacked into. I think for Insomniac, this is obviously bad. It's frustrating. They're obviously upset when things like this happen. I wish hackers would stop targeting game developers and start targeting other people that maybe we should target. with a hack. That's probably a separate topic that's not appropriate for the podcast, but it's just interesting how we're like, can't you guys like hack somewhere else? I guess we won't talk about the gameplay footage, but we did see it. It was posted online, so that's what I'll say is it was posted on Twitter. I've seen plenty of gameplay pics and videos of the Wolverine when this happened, so won't go into detail on it. But I mean, like, we talked about it before the podcast. I have eyeballs, I can't unsee things, unfortunately, for better or worse. So this is shitty, though. My point is, this is shitty, particularly when employee personal information is taken and shared.
Yeah,
that's really
particularly shitty. I think leaks aren't great either, to be honest. Like, obviously, as the gaming community, we get excited about game announcements, and we'd like to know everything, and we like everything to come out really quickly. But let's be real, these companies have a schedule for a reason. They don't want to show things that are incomplete or not ready to be shown, and they don't want to announce things before they're ready to announce them. So that part is kind of shitty too. Obviously not nearly as bad as personal information. That's beyond shitty.
Personal information is the worst. Source code is one thing. Personal information is just, that's like a whole different level to me. Like, source code is it's source code. Like, it's bad, but nobody's some of those employees probably had a conversation with their families and said, should we move?
Yeah.
That's source code doesn't mean you move, but like the other stuff, they might move. Some people might have to move because, like, oh shit, my address was leaked. Or like my phone number got leaked. Now I'm getting all sorts of phone calls. I got to change my phone number. So, that stuff is more distressing.
Yeah. So, this whole thing was pretty shitty. I don't really have much more to say about it. This just kind of happened. This was also like a few weeks ago at this point.
Yeah. This wasn't too recent. This was a week ago.
I feel like we had like nothing in terms of news this past week. I think like all three things are from the first week.
Because people shut down for about
between
2 weeks.
Christmas and New Year's. Yeah.
People generally shut down for 2 weeks. That's what happens. I can just tell you that from current job experience. Like, our customers, for example, all the big companies, they're like, okay, they flip a switch for 2 weeks, and they're like, nope.
Yeah. Shutting down.
We're shutting things down outside of like support and things like that. We're shutting down all of our talks of like new campaigns and things like that. They'll open things up probably the week after New Year. They'll reopen.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get a lot.
This was a shitty thing that happened, but I don't really have much other to say other than that.
Yep. Okay. Let's keep going. We're not showing any of the gameplay leaks or anything, but there's plenty. You could find it. Let's fucking go burn the industry to the ground. Okay. China today announced a series of planned. Well, today meaning, the context of this came about a week ago.
December 22nd.
Yeah. Game monetization and engagement tactics targeting is what they're looking at. So the new draft rule. So new draft rules. Doesn't seem like anything's been actually implemented here. Ban common mechanics in games, including daily login rewards, bonuses for first-time spenders, and incentives to spend repeatedly on a game. Daily login rewards to me actually is weird out of that list. Why daily login rewards? I get the idea is like we want to disincentivize people to be addicted, I guess, is the idea, but daily login rewards, we're targeting that seems a bit odd, I guess.
Yeah.
Publishers will also be prohibited from offering loot boxes to minors or allowing for in-game items to be auctioned or used as speculative assets. Games need to impose spending limits. Publishers will be required to run all their servers for Chinese games in China. I'm surprised that wasn't already a requirement. Loot box researcher noted that one of the new requirements is games with loot boxes must allow users to purchase the specific item they want directly as well, which completely defeats almost defeats the purpose of them using the loot box. So the game would just not use a loot box system anymore.
I mean, depends how expensive. I would assume the rule would also include it has to be a reasonable price.
I was about to say, like, I guess you can charge like $100 for something that's probably only worth $2 to be like, okay, you can buy it if you want. It's just ridiculously expensive. Additionally, should a game shut down, unspent currency must be refunded in real money at the rate it was originally purchased at. Interesting changes. China specific.
I mean, China's a huge market though.
China's a big market. I know.
Hoyoverse molding right now.
Hoyoverse is probably thinking like, okay, how do we pivot this? Hoyoverse probably has like a good pivot for this, but
they probably do. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be fine, but like, this is like all their games are this. Like,
yeah. Bonuses for first time spenders, which, yep. I'm thinking Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact. Does Genshin Impact have a daily login reward system? I don't actually think they do. I think it's just like, no, they have like daily quests. They do have bonuses for first time spenders. I don't know if they don't. I don't think they have incentives for repeated spending. They do. I mean, if we're calling a pull a loot box, which
that's a loot box.
It is, then they have loot boxes. You cannot purchase specific characters though. Outside, well, interestingly, you can, but only in specific situations, and it's usually a 4-star character. So
and it's on a rotation. Well.
So, I mean, yeah, they'll just remove the incentives for the first time spenders. They're like, okay, well, you just won't get your extra gems anymore for spending the first time. They'll probably change their pull system to be like, okay, well, we'll still keep the 10 pulls, but we'll also sell those 5-star characters to you at an exorbitantly high price. They'll just price it to be so high.
Well, it costs.
You'd rather just go for the 10
if you're
pull.
to actually, like, if you have no gems built up, if you want to like purchase a 5-star character through 10 pulls, it costs like.
Costs a lot.
It costs like $500 or something like that, assuming you get the worst, like assuming you don't get lucky and actually pull it, but like the rate is really low. So assuming you're going to pity,
so that's what they're gonna charge. They're gonna be like, okay, $500. They're just gonna charge what they think is gonna be the rate. So like, I get it. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, good. Now I can get my 5-star character by paying like $10. It's not gonna be $10, buddy. They're gonna sell it for a crazy high amount. If they're forced to do this, it's going to be crazy high, and you're going to be like, people will pay it, but
or people will just keep pulling and say,
they'll just keep pulling, right? They'll be like, okay,
I'm not gonna pay that. It's better to just pull.
It's better to just pull because maybe I don't care. And like banner characters, maybe they're like, okay, well, I can just pull for the banner character, and it's probably cheaper. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean. You're right. This may not end up doing all that much, but it's a step in the right direction for these kind of like super predatory, types of games.
Yeah. I hate to be super negative on this, but like we consistently
you're playing devil's advocate really well. That's for sure.
We're super naive to how good these people are at thinking of ways to circumvent the rules, make up for the loss that they might incur. Like the daily login rewards thing. All right, they're just not going to show. They're just not going to do it anymore. They'll do it a different way. They'll do daily quests. Right? They'll just be like, okay, well, if you do 4 daily quests, we'll give you what the daily login reward was. Bonuses first time spenders, they just won't do it. Incentives to spend money repeatedly. I don't know of those ones. I'd love to see an example of that. I don't know of an example of that, like particularly with like Hoyoverse games. Loot boxes thing, like, oh, you have to allow them to purchase a specific item. They're just going to overprice it so high that you're not going to want to do it. Unless there's some kind of limitation to say, like, you can't charge more than this, or you have to, like, provide us documentation to show that this is actually the market rate for that particular in-game item. They're just going to price, like, a 5-star character in Genshin. It's just going to be like 150, 200, 300 bucks. They'd be like, okay, do you want to pay 300 bucks for Big Dong Zhong? Like, go ahead. Go for it. Like, sure thing. Go pay 300. Like, it's going to be 300 bucks. And everyone's going to be like, why is it $300? And the analyst person, they're going to come in and say, well, if you're doing this many 10 pulls and we're assuming you get to pity, or we're assuming it takes, 7 10 pulls to get a character, whatever data they provide, like, how much is 7 10 pulls? Well,
I think it's like 80 or 90 was pity. Okay. But then you had the coin, there was the coin flip.
Then there's a coin flip. So they're gonna add all that data together and be like, okay, and that's why we landed on $250 for the character. And we're gonna be like, 250? Like, yep. I mean, all that garbage you get in those 10 pulls besides the character you want, that's like a penny. Not even. They're probably gonna be like, that's a penny. That's not even worth talking about.
And that's like my big problem, like on these loot box games a lot of times, like Genshin.
Yep.
Like, you do a 10 pull, and nothing, like, the only thing you want are, like, the 4 and 5-star stuff, and, like, 9 out of the 10 things that you get, the vast majority of the time, are, like, 3-star crap that, like, you don't want at all. It's, like, it's literal junk.
It's like less than a penny. It's less than a penny's worth of value to me. It's like there's no value to this item for the most part. What I would like to see, go ahead.
I don't know. If you look at like Pokemon cards or Magic cards and like that kind of thing, it's the same. If you're going like the collector route, where like you get 10 cards or whatever, and like 8 or 9 of them are complete junk usually.
Most of them are worth a penny, basically.
Yeah.
Most of them are worth a penny. All those common cards, it's like a penny, and then the uncommons are like, let's say, a nickel. You might get a rare. A rare is maybe, I don't know what rares go for. I'm just going to guess numbers. 50 cents, probably 25 to 50 cents. And then if you get an actual, like, decent card, it's like maybe $2. Yeah, like, good cards are obviously more, but like, so your pack that you bought for $5.
$5, yeah.
More than likely has less value in it. Like, that's just how I look at it. So the one thing I would like to see in these games, which they'll never do, is the 1-to-1 purchase system, where if you have an in-game currency like gems, let's just use gems as an example, I can just put in an amount I want to buy. I want to buy 600 gems for $6. Type in the amount I want to buy and get that exact amount. I don't want the $5 for 1,500 gems for an item that costs 1,600 gems, so I have to pay $10. Yeah. I just want 1-to-1 purchasing power. Where if you're going to do that, give me the idea of like, okay, 100 gems is $1, so each gem is a penny. I want to buy $7.50, because I know that's the exact price of that item. Just let me do that. I get it. The company makes more money with their bullshit tactic. But just, if you really want to make things better, like as a baby step route, that's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. Either that or what Ghost is saying is like you just remove like the virtual currency entirely.
I'd love that.
And just let people, you don't have to convert. You just buy this pull. The pull costs like $15, so you just pay $15 and that's it.
That's what I want. Like, if we're keeping the in-game currency, that would be my route. But if we're not, like, I just want that.
Forget the pull's like $25 or $30.
Yeah, just let me pay for the pull. Don't make me pay for the extra garbage that I don't need. Just let me pay for the pull. Like, that's crazy. It's like the concept we know it, but just to articulate it, that's like I go and buy a Coke bottle, and they're like, oh, by the way, since you bought this Coke bottle, we're gonna give you some extra stuff. I'm like, well, I didn't really want that. Like, I guess I'll take it, but I just wanted the Coke bottle. They're like, no, you have to buy the Coke bottle and this thingy.
No,
It's like,
and it's
guess.
also like if you went to like any store, if you went to like the supermarket and you had to buy their fun bucks like in order to buy stuff at the supermarket, and they only came in increments of 5,
Yeah.
10, 25, 50,
That's exactly
and $100. It's like, well, I want to buy, you know, 175.35. You can't buy 175.35. You have to buy like 200. You have to buy 200, and then you just have like 25 left over.
Here's your like
soda's 269. You can only buy store credit in $5 increments.
You can only buy in $5 increments. So I have like extra store credit. It doesn't expire, but it's like, well, I'm not going to come back to the store. Like,
do anything with that extra,
right.
One or whatever it is. It's just
could be
like,
traveling, could be whatever. I don't know. Anyway, it's ridiculous. The whole point is it's ridiculous.
That is the best thing that they could do to get rid of or not get rid of, but like make a step in the right direction on these things, is to just outlaw the virtual currency stuff. 'Cause it's just like, or as you said, like you can always buy as much currency as you need, right? There's no like bundles like, oh, you can only buy 5, 10, 25, 50, and 100 or whatever. Right?
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, that's the step in the right direction to me, actually. Like, all this is great, but like everybody underestimates the ability for them to just go around it. They're just gonna go around it. They're gonna figure a way around it.
Yep.
If you actually want to do that, just be like, okay, no more in-game currencies. Like, that'll actually get them. They'll be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What do we have to completely reinvent? How are we going to reinvent the wheel here? Like, we can't. Like, that's actually the step. It's like, okay, you can't do these in-game garbage currencies that are supposed to be only purchasable through real money or something like that. That to me is like a real fix. So I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I will say there's like a nugget of, well, my devil's advocate in me tells me that these companies, they're very clever in a negative way. In the most negative sense, they can be very clever. They're like, oh, well, I can get around that. I know how to get around that. Which is frustrating. So anyway, obviously I was super negative there, and I'm sure that's frustrating. I mean, it's like, oh no, but this is all good.
I think you're right, and I mean, this is good news that they're doing something about it, but you're right. I mean, until they need to do more. It's going to be a step in the right direction. It's probably going to make some improvement, but they need to do more for sure.
Yeah. I would say maybe your good ideas never going to look against, but
yeah,
maybe you're poking the wrong parts. I think you're poking the wrong parts of where the problem is. So anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have anything else to add.
No.
Okay. Let's come back here.